How goats decide when to move and when to stay still. If you spend enough time around goats, you start to notice something strange. They don't move randomly. They don't panic easily. They don't rush just because something changes, and they don't always run when you expect them to. Instead, goats pause, they watch, they wait, then they may run frantically. To someone unfamiliar with livestock, this can look like stubbornness or confusion or even laziness, but it isn't. Goats are constantly deciding whether movement helps or hurts them. In this video, we're going to break down how goats decide when to move and when to stay still, what information they're reading in their environment, and why staying calm is often the safest choice they can make. For goats, movement isn't free. Every step costs energy, attention, balance, positioning. Goats evolved in terrain where a bad step could mean injury or death, cliffs, rocks, uneven ground. So goats don't move unless movement solves a problem. If nothing changes, they stay. This is the first principle to understand. Movement only happens when it improves safety or access. When goats stop, they aren't freezing. They're collecting information. While standing still, goats are scanning visually, listening for changes, reading herd signals, assessing terrain. Stillness allows them to process multiple inputs at once. Movement reduces perception. Stillness sharpens it. This is why goats often pause before entering new space, crossing open ground, changing direction, responding to unfamiliar stimuli. They wait until the picture is clear. One of the biggest mistakes people make is watching a single goat in isolation. Goats don't decide alone. They decide collectively. Movement spreads through a herd like a signal. One goat shifts, another mirrors, a third confirms, then the group moves. If the group doesn't confirm safety, the herd stays still. This is why one goat running doesn't always trigger panic. The herd waits for confirmation. Goats are not built for sprinting, they are built for positioning. Before moving, goats evaluate footing quality, elevation advantage, escape routes, line of sight. If terrain favors them, they move confidently. If terrain is uncertain, they stop. Standing still on high ground is often safer than running downhill blindly. This is why goats sometimes refuse to move when pushed. They're reading the land, not the pressure. Goats constantly communicate without noise. They read head height, body angle, spacing, ear orientation. If one goat stiffens, others notice. If one relaxes, others follow. Movement only happens when multiple goats agree that it's time. This prevents overreaction. A herd that moves only on confirmation survives longer than one that panics easily. Not every sound matters. Not every movement is a threat. Goats are selective. They ignore familiar noises, repeated non-threats, irrelevant motion. Responding to everything would exhaust them, so goats filter information first. Only meaningful change triggers movement. This is why goats often seem unbothered by things that surprise humans. In nature, unnecessary movement draws attention. Stillness avoids detection, conserves energy, maintains balance, keeps options open. When goats stay still, they aren't trapped, they're flexible. They can move in any direction once they choose. Movement commits them, so goats delay commitment until they're sure. Young goats move more. They react faster. They test boundaries. Older goats move less. They wait longer. They rely on memory. Experienced goats know which areas are safe, which paths work, which signals matter. That experience slows them down, but makes them safer. Calmness is learned. People often think goats are being difficult. In reality, goats are solving a different problem, prioritizing stability and avoiding unnecessary risk. When humans rush goats, they interrupt decision making. That's when mistakes happen. Understanding how goats decide allows you to work with them instead of against them. Goats don't move randomly, and they don't stay still by accident. Every pause is calculation. Every step is intentional. When goats stay calm and still, it usually means They feel stable. They understand their environment. There is no advantage to moving yet. And in the wild or on a farm, waiting for the right moment is often what keeps animals alive. Goats don't just respond to signals, they respond to conditions. A noise might happen, movement might appear, but goats wait to see if that change settles or escalates. If conditions stabilize, goats stay still. If conditions worsen, they reposition. This is important. Goats don't assume danger from a single event. They look for patterns. That patience prevents false alarms, and false alarms are costly. When goats stop moving, they're not giving up space, they're holding it. Stillness allows goats to claim ground, maintain spacing, block access routes, prevent crowding. Movement gives space away, stillness preserves it. This is why goats often stop in doorways, narrow paths, or high ground. They're anchoring position. In many situations, goats prefer to move after others. They let younger goats test, dogs reposition, conditions reveal themselves. Moving last gives more information. The last mover has the most data. That's not hesitation, it's advantage. Stress changes how goats move. Stressed goats pace unnecessarily, overreact, lose herd cohesion, and misjudge terrain. Calm goats conserve energy and make cleaner decisions. This is why low stress handling matters. It doesn't just improve behavior, it improves survival outcomes. From the outside, stillness looks passive, but for goats, stillness is active control. By staying still, goats keep options open, avoid commitment, force the environment to change first. Many problems resolve themselves when goats don't rush. Sometimes the safest move is not moving at all. If you learned something new or enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.